Hello beautiful people, I'm Desiree and welcome to my Inspired Human channel. In this video I'm going to talk about how to find your true self when you're in hell or you're about to enter hell, and some things to keep in mind as you go on this journey, so stay tuned. So what is the authentic self? What is the true self? What is your soul? Good question. Well, I'm going to explain it like this. In the beginning, you were born into this wonderful, beautiful world. You had no idea what this world consisted of. You didn't even know what you were. You didn't know that you were a human. You didn't know anything. All you knew is that you were in one place, and now you're in a new place, and everything is completely different. Scary, huh? So here you are, this itty bitty little baby, just taking in this world. And that's all you're pretty much doing for the first 7 years of your life, according to science. That can be a little bit debated. But for the sake of this video, we'll just keep it to science and we'll just go with the whole 7-year thing. So this whole idea of the whole 7 years is that for the first 7 years of your life, you're just taking in everything, right? You're taking in what your parents are saying, you're taking in everything that you're exposed to, all of the people, all of the environments, all the situations, all of that, you're just taking it in. And then what kind of happens around the 7-year mark, and Catholicism recognizes this as well, is you start to internalize a little bit, right? Morality starts to set in. All of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what's right? What's wrong, what's good, and what's bad. So early on in life, as your brain is forming these neural connections, it's making an amalgamation of all these different belief systems that you're exposed to. Because it exists in your world, it is considered true. Now, this is very important, especially if you have a traumatic past, because this can rewire your brain differently. So what ends up happening is that we take on what our parents and our caregivers say about us as true. We also take on what our religious systems say about us and how we should behave as true. And we also take everything in society of how we should behave and what certain things are as true. So as we're young, these belief systems are getting formed, and they're getting formed by, what we're observing, and then also kind of like what we're feeling, so what we're experiencing. So somebody that has a strict parent, or they're always getting in trouble, or their parents saying, why are you doing this? You are so bad. You must get spanked. Why are you such a bad kid? Why can't you behave? The child's going to internalize that and believe that they're a bad person. Now, this is going to cause problems whenever they get older because this internal belief is still here and they're not aware of it. So because they're not aware of it, they're going to attract people in certain situations that play out to prove that they are a bad person. And this is why you kind of get in this thinking of like, why are these things happening? Why is this happening to me? Or why can't I find a good mate? Or why do I always have trouble in relationships? And this can carry over into career and money. So like, why don't I have money? Why is no one listening to me? Why do I feel so alone? Why is the world such an evil place? These are all of the belief systems that you've adopted based on your early childhood experiences. So what ends up happening as you're taking in all of these different belief systems and experiences that are not your own or caused by somebody else, what happens to your true self is that it kind of gets covered up. All of a sudden now, you are not supposed to act authentically, because if you act authentically, there are consequences. There are consequences in your church, there are consequences in your home, and there are consequences in society. You better believe that. So as we grow up and we become adults, we still continue to look for external sources, for sources of happiness, and for solutions for our problems. So all of a sudden now we're looking for a saving grace, or we're looking for society and the government to make things better for ourselves, or we're looking for a relationship to make us feel fulfilled and loved, because internally we don't have that. But the secret is you have to go within to find your true self and who you really are, because you're really not all of these identities and belief systems that you adopted. So, because going inside is really, really tricky, it's really hard to communicate. I like to think of it this way. Think of that you have a mind, a body, and a soul. The mind is your cognitive belief system and your cognitive functioning. Your body is, your physical body, which will also contain your emotions. So your emotions are within your physical body. And then there's also something else, which is your soul. Now this can be described as your authentic self or your true self, and it's very intuitive. So it's that kind of feeling. It's something separate from your emotions, but it's also something that you internally feel. That's what we're going to focus on here. So as you go within and you begin to focus on your true self or your authentic self or your soul, you're going to notice that belief systems are going to come up, right? Faulty belief systems are going to come up and false identities are going to come up. Now, this is going to create a struggle within, a struggle with your authentic self and your egoic self. Because your egoic self, who you've currently been all the way up into this point, if you haven't done any internal work, is going to be very, very strong, right? It's already your neural pathways have already formed into believing that you're some kind of identity that you're not. So whenever you shed these identities, it kind of feels like a part of you is dying. But as this part of you is dying, your true self emerges. Now, this is what creates the hell. This is what creates the hell within and the pain and the struggle, because you're kind of confused, right? It's a very confusing time. So as you are in this time, there are some things that you need to be aware of, and I'm going to go over them right now. So the first thing on the list is observation. Observation is key here. Observation without judgment. And what I mean by observation, I mean observe everything that's going on in your body. Observe your thoughts and observe your emotions. And if you're just starting out, this is going to be really, 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 really hard, because your mind's probably going like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and you need to do some work to calm that down first. And also with your emotions, make sure you are feeling your emotions. You don't suppress them, you don't ignore them, and you don't hide them. You feel them. You feel the shame that comes up, the guilt, the heartbreak, right? Cry, 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 cry. Get it all out. Just make sure that you feel your emotions, and also understand that your emotions are part of your biological system. It's part of your body. So your emotions and your mind are tools. They're tools to use to gain information on who you are and who you're not. Understand that. The next thing on the list is be 100% honest with yourself. You have to take the good with the bad. Whatever you see down here, just take it and accept it. If you're a sinner, you're a sinner. If you're a saint, you're a saint. Also, remember to keep an open mind. You are in hell, right? Remember that. So things are going to get revealed to you that you do not want to see. Monsters are going to come out. Monsters that you thought were friends, all of a sudden are not. So keep that in mind and be open-minded. Also, expect setbacks. Expect. This is not a linear process. You're not going to take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. You might take 6 forward, 10 back, 100 forward, 200 back. I mean, this isn't a linear process, right? And this is something that can happen, throughout your whole life. So remember this. This is not something that's linear at all. Also, beware of the ego trap. Misery loves company. Be very, very mindful of the people that you're surrounding when you're going through hell or you are in hell. If you are around people that are not lifting you up and continuously supporting you to make sure that you get through hell, cut them out. Get rid of them. Don't even associate with them. They're only going to hold you back. They're going to keep you stuck in this funk that you really don't want to be in. So keep that in mind. And the last thing I'm going to say here, guys, is to expect change. Expect change within yourself. As you're shedding these old identities and your true identity is emerging, that you're going to change, right? You're going to change a couple times. And don't worry about when people say, oh, you're just being fake, or that's not really who you are. Ignore them, right? Those are the people I was just talking about. Cut them out. Get rid of them. Don't listen to them. It's okay to change. Your whole life is changing. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. You weren't the same person 10 years ago. You're 15, right? We have a thing called life stages for a reason in psychology. So understand that, right? You're constantly changing, and that is okay. So that's it, guys. Those are my tips to remember to keep in mind if you're going through hell or you're about to enter into hell. And be sure to watch my next video that distinguishes the authentic self and the ego self to help you on your journey. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and until next time, bye.